Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is John Bunn, and Nick is on yet another airplane going somewhere cool while I'm here in Tulsa sweating my butt off. It's fine. I'm not mad about it. I'm not jealous. I'm a little mad about it. I'm a little jealous. Okay, sorry. But it's a good time of the year. Getting back into the swing of things. My kids started school last week, which is very neat. I am now in the first week of having no kids at home during the week for the first time in the last 12 years. So maybe we'll get some more How to Film Weddings content out of it. I don't know. But I'm very excited about what we've been up to. We have a lot of big plans, a lot of big things coming out, a lot of big things happening. So be sure to stay tuned to the How to Film Weddings world. The best way to do that is actually inside of our Facebook group. We keep pushing that. If you go to howtofilmweddings.com/community, I know Facebook sucks, but Facebook groups are a great place for a community. A great place for our community to like connect, watch wedding films, meet with each other, get to connect and know new people. Like, it's actually pretty awesome. It's the only reason I get on Facebook, but community is everything. And I want to talk to you about someone that we want to introduce to the community, and that is Foolishly Rushing In. They are a wedding film and photo house based in Orange County, California. I had a conversation just now that was going to go 30 minutes long, and it went way longer than that with Dan and Nardia. They are focusing on luxury, but laid back luxury. And I think it was so cool. It was great to talk to them about like their why, who they want to serve. We dive into how they've built relationships with planners, how they've built their website and to show off their personality in the website, some of their struggles, their story. It was a great episode. I'm not going to lie. I am so excited. I've been following them on Instagram for a while. I saw some of these luxury weddings that just had this incredible feel. It's kind of, with this laid back luxury, it's like a mixture of really creative, but really luxury. And I loved it. And I wanted you to be introduced to them. So without further ado, here is my interview with Dan and Nardia from Foolishly Rushing In. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dan and Nardia, for joining us. Why don't you take a second, say hello, introduce yourself to the How to Film Weddings world. Who are you people?
Hey, everyone. I'm
Hello.
Nardia.
I'm Dan, and we're Foolishly Rushing In. And we've been doing this for about 7 years. We started in video, but now we lean a lot more into photography. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah. Still do video, though.
Nice. And you guys, where are you based? You said you started somewhere around 7 years ago. Where do you mainly shoot? Who's your ideal? Like, who are you trying to serve? Like, who would you say is your market?
Yeah, we're based out of Orange County, California, but I think we travel a bit, a few international a year, and then
Who's our market?
Who's our market? Our market is, I think our market's, we say it's laid back luxury. It's somebody that is professional. It's somebody that is particular about their taste. But I think that along the way, we wanted to be a lot more boutique and a lot more hands-on and have a lot of care with our clients. And so that meant more time and more budget. But we didn't want something like just large or pretentious, Like, I feel like both Nardia and I are just like grounded people and try to be authentic, and then Nardia is very simple and direct and like a lot of that like decisiveness and directness and simplicity. I think those are the type of things that we want from our clients that are just I think some of the most laid back people are very wealthy or successful people, but they
you don't know that they're wealthy.
Yeah, they're just themselves, and
That's awesome. And so when did you start, take us back to the beginning? Obviously, like, for those that don't know, husband and wife team, those kinds of things. But like, what made you, who came to who with the idea, or were you doing this before you guys started? What's the story there? How did Foolishly Rushing In start?
You go for it.
So actually, Dan was working a corporate job at this point. Mm-hmm. And well, if you didn't know, Dan used to be in a band back in the day. And he did the whole touring and like all of that for a few years.
How'd you meet me? How did that happen?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's go even deeper. What band is it? Do I need to be nervous right now?
We don't need to name the band. No, the band was good. It was good. I shouldn't. Oh, they're my friends, so I can't knock on the guys at all. So we were called National Product. It was like total emo. I had the emo.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Melodic rock.
Yeah, melodic rock. It was like Warped Tour stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So she. So how'd you meet me?
Oh yeah. I slid into his DMs when MySpace was a thing.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. So you slide into his MySpace DMs. You get together. Yeah.
We start talking for a little bit.
Yeah.
Became boyfriend and girlfriend. 4 months in, he proposed.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, so we were married 11 months after our first date type of thing. And so that was how Foolishly Rushing In idea, like later on.
Like the name.
I think
about.
Jumping ahead in marketing, we always felt like and my philosophy about it is you have to be yourself. You have to really just completely own your own personality and who you are, and don't try to take business paths or decisions or business models that isn't in line with exactly who you are, because you're just gonna waste time. You're gonna flounder around with your marketing. You're not gonna get clients that are interested or like you. It's gonna be a frustrating experience. So anyways, when we started to do this full time, then that Foolishly Rushing In was about us, and it was always centered around like us being ourselves and finding kind of like-minded clients like that. But I was at a corporate office, and I started in graphic design when we first got married. And so she was studying to be a cop. I was doing graphic design. Nothing about video or weddings was even on the radar or anything like that. And I worked up my way in that company to be like the creative director over the whole marketing team. And along the way, I had started to do video, and I was producing things for that company, like the company needed a commercial at one point, and they had pitched the commercial to an agency, and they had come back with a budget of like over $200,000. And me and my boss were just sitting in the room and thinking like, dude, we should just do it. We should just do it. And then we're like, dude, we should just do it, So the first thing with my first interaction with video was like I hired a DP, traveled around, I directed it, produced it, slashed direct produced, and then I don't know, it was just so much fun. And I thought, man, I want to hold the camera. I want to so then after that, I was like, just had the bug. So one of my friends in the band.
He's like, hey, Dan, I know you do commercial work. Do you want to shoot my wedding?
Yeah.
Dan's like, I have no idea how to do this, but sure, why not? It'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun is what I thought. Yeah. And it just became a thing really quick. It just, it was fun.
Then another bandmate got married, and then someone else, and it kind of just like word of mouth started growing on its own without us really knowing what we had in front of us.
Yeah. So I basically filmed all of my bandmates' weddings except for Stan. So
is Stan married? Did he leave you on the Okay.
No, Stan just didn't hire me. I don't know. Stan's a good photographer too. Stan Moniz, you should check him out. He's a good photographer. He does a lot. He's a Sony rep. He does a bunch of that. Wow. So it's kind of funny. All the guys from the band went and did their own stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, and we see that a lot too with musicians, artists becoming wedding filmmakers, and like so many people we talk to. It's like I was the worship pastor at my church, or I was in a band, or I played the drums, or I play this, or I did. And it's like it makes sense. Like it's a creative outlet that makes a lot of sense. So totally. You're touring. You've got these groupies DMing you, wanting to get married to you, stuff like that.
That might be the best way to describe it. Actually,
you're welcome. Yeah, you can have that. You foolishly rushed in. You're married. You're starting this thing. You start taking on these weddings. You do this. Couple $100,000 project, no big deal. Then you start to like really get into shooting these events and stuff. What about it made you say, yes, I want to keep doing this?
I think it was me.
Was it? Well, no, at first I really loved because it was my friends. I was, in the weddings with my friends and filming it. And I felt like you're closer on that day. You're closer than the family, spending more time with the family. So it was a great way to celebrate with people, and it was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. But the only way I would keep doing it after that first year was doing it with you, for sure. Like building it with you and I think her vision of the aesthetics and everything that she finds beautiful in a wedding and beautiful in the type of client and everything is an extension of her. So I just love kind of the marketing side of it and the branding side of it. I love that aspect of it is the brand identity, bringing her vision to life. So she's actually the boss. I'm
Smart man.
I work for her.
That's good. What about you? When did Nardia, like when did you start to get involved? Was it from the very beginning? Or how'd that come about?
Yeah, so I was always his second shooter.
Mm-hmm.
We would do that for 2 years, I would say, just video.
Yeah, I think about, well, because that Oklahoma wedding was the first wedding where we had done like, it itself was a 3-day wedding, but then we did an extra day of like engagement, through like the, and there wasn't that many people doing it back then because that was 2016 or something like that. People weren't doing additional engagement stuff mixed into the video. And we wanted to do that because we wanted you to take photos.
Yeah. I wanted to learn photography. He's like, you should learn photography. I was like, no, there's no way. Like, there's a big responsibility. He's like, babe, you have the eye, just learn. So I just learned. Yeah.
But it came really natural to her because she's very decisive and she always has a really good sense of taste and style and interior design. And so picking up a camera, even though she was studying to be a cop, which is a huge difference, it was just very intuitive for her. Right away.
Okay, so you start filming these weddings. I'm sure the first ones aren't as good as what you're producing now, but I'm sure they were great. How did it evolve into where it is today? Like, so you're doing laid back luxury. A lot of people like are really want to get into more luxury type weddings. Or you said something earlier about like only doing work for people that like really relate to you and your vision and what you stand for, and only working for those kinds of people. How did you decide who your ideal people were? Were there certain weddings that stood out? Like, yes, this is, the ones. These are the kinds of weddings we want to do. And then just kind of how did that progress into where it is today?
I feel like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know.
I feel like part of it was luck in a way, because before we had a strong philosophy and it was more of like a rigid, it wasn't as though at the beginning we said we only work with certain clients. It just, I think is a natural extension of when you put yourself out there authentically and through your marketing and through your work, then like-minded people do come into your circle. And so I think it was a bit of like luck in that sense, where we were doing that and we learned a valuable life lesson, I think marketing lesson along the way. And then we just really leaned into that marketing. So we don't have to turn away many clients because most of the people that come to us are the clients that we would want to work with. Mm-hmm.
I think we usually fall in love also with people's personality because we Zoom with all our clients. So we don't really know much about like what the wedding visually will look like. I actually have no idea until I show up the day of, unless a planner sends me something. But I'm always like, yep, this is very much us. Yeah, for sure. I think moving into more of like the luxury space, I think that was more... Well, I think that goes back to like when she was doing photography, like every photographer, everyone looked at India Earl, and India was awesome, but it was just And I remember like I kept shooting these engagement sessions or weddings that were like out on fields, and I'm like, or that involved hiking, and I'm like, I hate hiking. Like
this sucks.
A city girl, and I'm like, why? Why do I keep doing?
Yeah,
this
she grew up in the valley. She's a valley girl. Her favorite movie is Clueless. I mean, it's like,
and like, and like I love fashion, and so I didn't see that out there at the time. Like I only saw like India Earl style, or because that's what I was following on Instagram, and I didn't realize that there was like more. So then I was like, why don't I just create a style shoot and try to like showcase what I like? Yeah. And so he actually planned the entire style shoot for me. Yeah. I think we had done a few of those, planning the styled shoots every 6 months and then wanting to go to Mexico. So then go down to Mexico, break into that market by booking out an entire villa and all the models and everybody and make friends down there. And then that turns into like a
full business the following year type of thing.
I think also coming from like the corporate world, because he knew that every few months, like there's branding to companies, and like Guess does it, like all these markets do it, like all these companies do it. He's like, why not do that for us?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that was around the time when shootouts started popping up, all over the place, and they definitely have their value, but we were kind of doing things just on our own terms and in our own marketing, our own styled shoots, and making relationships with planners. And I think that made a really big difference because I look at Instagram as marketing that goes wide. It goes out. Whatever you are right now, it's going to make that just louder. It's going to go, but it doesn't level you up. It just pushes wider, which has its own benefit. But if you want to level up, you have to have these like almost manual or hands-on type of marketing ideas. And so relationships with planners was the most effective way that we went up in level. And then once you're then getting work at that level, then Instagram will push that out wider. But I think in a digital age, it's like people think, I just gotta, I don't know, start a podcast, start a this, start a that, do this or that. But like, if like you guys are amazing at podcasts because it's good for you, it's right for you, it's like authentic to you guys, right?
Thanks.
But I think that I think that some people look at that and then they say, well, I got to do that too. And I think that we've leaned into the idea that we shouldn't do things if it's not right for us and right for our personality and fit with us, and focus on very specific things every year to level up, and then let Instagram or social media or whatever push it out wider.
Yeah. No, that's huge. There's so many things that you're saying there that like really resonate with us and how we try to communicate. And the way you said it, I think is really tangible. And like, I've been saying a lot lately, it's like there are width builders and there are depth builders, and same thing with like leveling up. And Instagram is like that magnifying glass that's going to show more of what you do, especially now for wedding filmmakers and photographers, like with reels and just the explosivity of what they can do and the virality. But I think so many people get just caught up in like the width side of it, right? Yep. I want a big following. That's what I need. And then I'll be successful. And the people that I talk to that are serving making the most, working with the clients that they want to, like, there's all these things that like success equals, it's like I have time with my family. I have a schedule that I care about, or that are on my terms. I'm working with the kinds of couples I'm working with. I know who I am. All these things, like, one aspect of it is the width building, like the Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is that you're doing. But the people that I'm talking to that are getting into these luxury markets, and I'm not even talking about like luxury ballroom tuxedo kind of weddings, but just they're spending an incredible amount of money going and doing destinations in beautiful places, or Italy, or these, or whatever it is, this luxury experience kind of wedding. That everybody I talk to talks about their relationship with planners and other vendors. I think wedding filmmakers, especially because we like to be in the editing cave, behind the camera, behind the scenes, a lot of people don't get out there and connect with people. You said something about like these hands-on, like going and putting your hand to something, doing the work. What kinds of things are you talking about that you all did that you found successful? Somebody wants to get out there and say, okay, I want to build relationships. I want to get my name out there to go, to level up. What kinds of things did you do when looking back, like what were the things you did to like start taking those steps to level yourself up?
Honestly, I think it's funny because all initiatives were all originating from her. Like all of her ideas, she would say, I want to do this. I think I want to do that. And then I would catch on to it and be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea.
I think also, but like on the wedding day, like I feel like when you go above and beyond to not, you're like not just there to shoot film of wedding. Like I feel like if you go and help, the planner with whatever she needs, or if you're just like accommodating and like help everyone out and see their needs and kind of just like step outside of just like your circle. And you think about also every vendor when you're shooting, like, oh, the planner's probably going to want this. The hair person's going to want this. When you're thinking as a group, I feel like that's what I mean, that's what has really helped us out.
Yeah, I mean, even more specifically, she was studying food photography. She was studying interior design. She was studying, interior architecture photography. She was studying those different disciplines so that she was able to, for the stylist, for the, for every vendor, she was able to deliver like a specific type of photo that they would be able to use for their portfolio and take care of them. But one of the things that was helpful that we had been part of like a mastermind class with Joy Spears
Joey and Christy. Yeah.
Joey and Christy, yeah. And Creative Rise. Yeah, there you go. They'll love that plug. But they did help us out a lot. And we were in that group for a while. And one of the things that really caught on at that point was the 10-cent rule. It was just putting 10 cents in a bucket with 10 of your favorite planners you would just love to work with. Every day, you just like have a genuine interaction with them. Don't just, be fickle about it online, but like build a relationship. But like all of those interactions slowly became real weddings and slowly became, the highest paying weddings, and they still do. So we would then also, once a relationship kind of got off the ground a little bit, where they actually follow us and actually talk to us, then we would do a styled shoot with them. We would, and a lot of the publications and things that we've been a part of came from those things. The celebrity clients come from those relationships because we're on the forefront of their mind because we've been genuine with them and we genuinely only talk to them because we love their work and it becomes mutual, Mm-hmm. But it has to be backed up on the day of. It has to be genuine, and you can't just shotgun it with everybody. You just pick 10 that you like genuinely think, yeah, this is a great fit, and she had done that.
Keep working at it for like a year.
Yeah, it takes a whole year for sure.
Yeah. And so someone's out there today in 2022, they're a couple of years into their business. They know they want to go down a lane that's a little more, connecting with wedding planners, doing more luxury events. Do you have any tips or suggestions? Like if you were today kind of getting going on how you'd go about it? Would it be Instagram DMs? Would it be trying to figure out where they're going to be or like different, like how does one go about trying to cultivate these relationships without kind of becoming a creep or cold calling or things like that? What would you maybe say to that?
I mean, I think there isn't one answer that fits. So to summarize like how I feel about everything recently is like, I want to live a simple life. I want to live just a very like simple life in the terms of like, I want to be very successful. I want to push in to be the best that I can be. And I want to see the world. I mean, it's not like not wanting to live life to the fullest, but I want to live a life that every decision and every effort is true to who we are, and it makes sense. And I don't want to pursue success just to be rich. I don't want to pursue success through like by whatever means to get there. And so like a lot of the decisions along the way that come into your head, like kind of you just have. You're looking at other people on Instagram and saying, well, I got to do that too. I got to create reels. I got to do this. I got to do that. You start just copying people because they're going, like you said, wide, and then it's not deep. The depth thing is always hidden. You can never see that on Instagram, but the width you see. So you copy the width. You think that that's going to work out, or you start becoming something you're not. You'll destroy everything. So I think that for us, it made sense. For certain planners or for certain clients, we would buy a night stay at Hotel Joaquin, which is a really nice boutique hotel here in Laguna. And we'd gift them that or like a bottle of natural wine or something like that. Not right out the gate, it's somebody we don't know, but we would build relationships by showing thanks. Or I think a lot of the interactions you had online, they were just genuine comments, genuine interactions. But I mean, some of the things were more aggressive, but it was always like, it felt like us. It wasn't like we were trying to be something we're not. It felt like...
We weren't trying to creep up on them.
We weren't trying to creep up on people, no.
You don't slide into the DMs of the planners, just the band members. Got it.
And I think if I did it, though, it would have been, though, a little bit. Just, I feel like, as a girl...
And I don't think I, like, slid into the DMs. I think just, like, heart it for a few times, and then eventually I'm, like, started actually reading people what they would write and like replying back, and eventually I feel like that just paid off doing it that way.
Yeah, but it was just like building a genuine relationship with
Friendship.
people, like but not trying to be anything other than yourself, though.
Yeah.
Nick and I have to tell you about one of our favorite places to upload our wedding films, and that is Love Stories TV. Love Stories TV is one of the best free resources for us wedding filmmakers. The best part is they are bringing the couples to us. All we have to do is upload our films and we are good to go. Upload unlimited wedding films to your completely free business page. Setup is easy and your films can be live in just minutes. Now is the perfect time to start uploading to Love Stories TV. So head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/lovestoriestv to check out all of the details and see how Love Stories TV is giving away $10,000 in cash to wedding filmmakers just like you. That's howtofilmweddings.com/lovestoriestv to start uploading and connecting with the right couples today.
Hi, it's Michael from Wedditor. We want to thank everyone for the incredible support we've received since sponsoring How to Film Weddings. Yes, we've had some growing pains, but we've had far more wins. And we're doing something that's never been done. We're a remote team of over 50 editors in 10 countries. I often joke that we're as much a logistics company as we are a creative company. Right now, demand is off the charts. And we don't just say yes to everyone and scramble to figure it out. That's why we're asking you to help us help more of you. In short, we're looking for more talented wedditors, part-time or full-time, work from where you want, when you want, as long as you hit deadlines and deliver quality. It's a chance to get paid while growing as an editor. Our project managers work with you, explaining why something feels right or doesn't, because there's always a reason. If you're interested, we'd love to hear from you. Go to wedditor.com/editor and fill out our form.
So I love that. I love the idea of like just, taking and working and building these relationships with people. I have noticed too, kind of shifting, that whenever I first got going, I would be doing 15, 20 weddings a year, and like 5 to 10% of them would be like the wedding that I want to be working, or I would randomly be like, that's the planner I've been wanting to work with. Did any moments happen for you when you first got going? Basically, I guess what I'm asking is like, did you have kind of a list, or did you see people that you wanted to work with so you would be aware when you were going to work with them at the beginning, or did any type of big breaks happen early on, or where did maybe some of those big breaks, if you think back to it, were like, was there a wedding so far in, or how far in were you, or whenever maybe you got to work with that planner or make a relationship with that photographer, or how did that work for you?
Well, maybe you can think about it and you can give an example of like your own. But for us, I think we got fortunate because in the beginning of doing video, when we had just started doing photography, but it was mainly video, that wedding in Oklahoma was like the archetype for, it was like the main marketing for 5 years. Like I could not beat that one wedding video. That video just kind of like was perfect for 5 years, and everyone would, when they would inquire, so I love that video, and so it was a good thing to have at the beginning, like a very great example. But I think that was also because we went above and beyond, because we did, and they were just very genuine people. So going above and beyond and shooting the engagement session for free, and the things that you talked about are going, and making something you were passionate about, like, that brought in a lot of marketing from the very beginning. And then as far as like working with other planners and building those relationships, I don't know, is there something that comes to your mind that?
Not necessarily. I feel like I don't think we thought about that until,
in the very beginning.
Yeah.
But at one point,
I'm trying to think of who it was.
It's
I think
okay.
there's-
Like I just didn't like for me. I don't remember it much either. I just remember like there were like what you were saying. There was a couple of weddings where I just knew they were the kinds of weddings that I wanted to do, so I went extra on them. I did more. It's like I booked a $2,500 package in 2007, but I gave them a $5,000 package. Something where it's like I'm doing all this extra stuff because I knew that was the marketing I wanted for the next year.
I think
guess
whenever we had a planner that we really wanted to work with, we made sure that we never gave a discount. Like we've never given a discount that worked well. I think we've done it maybe 4 or 5 times in 7 years of doing business, and we've always tried to give extra value, if anything. But whenever we give a discount, it started the relationship off wrong. It made like the respect level unbalanced, and I think going back to like dating, you were talking about like when you would just walk up to somebody, if you can feel the hunger in somebody, it's really not attractive, and the hunger in a way where they're just desperate to make it work. I think it's important to to be okay with yourself and to be able to just like date slow with people, and then when you have that dream wedding that comes in, still we always answer emails like, okay, how do we answer this email? We've never answered this question before. We've never done this type of job before. Let's imagine we've done it for 5 years, because the first time that you write the email, you'll over-explain yourself. You'll use too many words. You'll, try to sell yourself. But the 5th year in, it's just like, oh, it's this way. It's this much money. Here it is. And it's so matter of fact and to the point, and I think like in all of our interactions, we try to do things like that, where come from a position of not being desperate, come from a position of success, come from a position of being confident, and being straightforward with people. And so planners, I think also, well, just anybody, human, we respond better to those type of situations. So I think when we have a dream client or planner come through, it is what it is. It either works or it doesn't, and if we feel like some adding value might tip the scale, we'll add in something for free, but we'll never say in terms of discount or anything. It's always tied to, say it's an engagement session, we want to add it because we want them to have the chance to get to know us. We think it'll make all the difference on the wedding day when you've already had, the chance of like spending time with us, building the relationship. So we always talk on those type of levels of like, I think we're really big on serving and really big on, kind of humbly serving our clients and doing what's right.
Yeah, I like that. I'm wondering too, like, so do you, as it sits today in 2022, for your bookings for this year, for next year, are they all coming at this point from vendor relationships, most of them, or is it kind of a mixture between that and Instagram? Where do you guys stand on how you're getting most of your bookings?
Well, we were talking about like the width and the depth aspect earlier. So last year we were about 3 years into building an associate team. And so we were going really hard at that. And we were doing about 50% of our business was us, 50% was associates. And there was a lot of good things that came from that, but it really burnt us out. And there was a lot of things that also it didn't fit, I guess, the life that we wanted. And we had to come to terms with that. So a lot of the inquiries would come in for associates through Instagram, because Instagram is basically the level you were at the previous year. But planners is basically the level you're at that year, or in some cases when the dream client comes in, it's the next year. So for next year, we are doing very minimal associate work. And so a lot of the people that come in through Instagram are like within budget, not within what we want to be doing. So I think the majority of next year is from planners. And it took a good 2 to 3 years to build enough of those relationships where the ideal client comes in.
We're seeing the fruit now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And of those planners, I guess, so that you think about like your go-to people, if you rewind back and think about how that relationship was built, like, is there one or two that are like your main go-to planners that send you, or is it just all kind of random planners? Because if there's only a couple, I would love to kind of reverse engineer back to how your relationship started with them.
Yeah, I'm gonna think of like
Laura.
MJ's another one that.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember like how she.
Well, Laura, I don't know how it even started, but Laura was just like became one of your friends you talk about freaking everything about life with
Yeah, it's
all the
funny
time.
because like we met. I thought her outfit was super cute, and we kind of bonded on like clothes, and then it kind of just like, oh my gosh, our styles are the same, and kind of. Usually that's how it happens for us.
Yeah, so if you're a guy videographer, just going, oh my gosh, I love your clothes.
That's it. No, I think the point that I'm getting at is that, like, when I talk to people about how that began, it's never like I handed them my business card and then they immediately called me. It's like they're working with people that they're like, yes, you're my kind of people. Like you guys, you would go on vacation with them. You would, it's not like you are, but you could and you would. And, the people I like getting referrals from, the planners, it's like, they're just people that are like me. They were friends of mine. We would go to a show together. We'd go out together. Like, they're just, on the same page. And the people that I'm seeing that are having the most success with the relationships with these kinds of people are just people that aren't trying to get something from these people. Like, we all know that we're trying to get work and we're trying to do nice things and make money and be fulfilled and all this. But, like, there's just this layer of trust that has to be built with people as humans.
I think you said it really well. There's a difference between getting something from somebody or just doing life together with somebody. Like, it's all the difference.
And that's where, I see things like Engage, the events, or like different workshops or different, it's just like getting in the room with people so they see you're a real human, not trying to sell them something, just being a cool person to be around and cultivating relationships. And it's like, which turn of the flywheel got it going? It's just like, I don't know. Like, we just keep doing things that are, we know who we are first. We know who our brand is. We know who we want to serve. And we also are making ourselves available and being in the same room with some of these people and taking advantage of the weddings that we're at with these people. We're taking advantage of the mixers we're at. We're going and getting ourselves out there. And then just working that over time is what I'm seeing.
That's the hardest part. Is it's not like it doesn't fit on like the cover of Cosmo, like 5 steps to be successful. It's not. It's never like these steps. It's like, I don't know. I'm not a terrible person to people, and it kind of worked out for me. And I think that like you said it right when we're like, how do you become successful? It's like, I don't know, and it's trying to reverse engineer but. I think that philosophy of like wanting a simple life, be very successful, but wanting a simple life, wanting to be authentic and doing things right, it pays off. Like, it's not something that can be easily just taught in a mentor session or something like that. But when you look at Instagram, you look at everything else, you think it's something else. But I think we started meeting other photographers that had, I don't know, like 1,000 followers, and she was charging something like $30,000 to photograph the wedding, and it blew her mind. Just like, okay, wait, so there is a entire ecosystem of success underneath the surface, underneath what you see online, where they have a family life, they are happy, they're not pursuing success just to be successful. They love what they're doing, and it really got us to say, well, wait, we don't want to do that either, and so we've really leaned into, if Instagram continues to grow, then great, but we're just going to showcase our work there. We're going to be ourselves there and pursue those relationships, work under the surface, and really serve each client well, focus on doing the small things right, and it will pay off. And that's kind of the philosophy that we run by, and it is every year paying off by just working hard at the small stuff.
Also depends on what you define success as. Right?
That's true.
Yeah, I love all that. I also think that part of that success that I see, when I speak to people, and I have the awesome luxury of chatting with lots of successful people in this industry, they are very good at knowing who they are, who they want to serve, but they're also very good at self-promotion without it feeling like self-promotion. Where it's like you all do, like when you go through your website or when you go through your Instagram, like you guys show up, we get to know who you are. We feel like we can relate to you. And I remember the section on your site, you know, it's like where you're kind of answering questions about each other, or, you know, it's like I'm extroverted, I'm introverted, I'm, you know, I'm camping, I'm glamping, I'm this, I'm that. But it's just like immediately you are separating people. If they see your page and they're like, ugh, I don't like these people, they go away, and that's fine. Instead of being vanilla and just being like every other filmmaker out there or every other site. And so like there's this layer too of being able to know how to promote yourself without it feeling like self-promotion, and with that being authentic and genuine. I've been really in the last couple of years like, oh, I have to get myself out in front of the camera more and be okay with that. You guys seem to do a pretty good job. I mean, I know that like it's a really good job, but I'm sure that to yourself you feel like is there any angst behind, like, how are you guys like figuring out ways to be in front of the camera that's you know, you say authentic, that doesn't come across? Because I know a lot of people are like, I want to be in front of my camera, I want to be on my website, I want to show up more, but they feel awkward to do it. Or like, so maybe some tips for how to show up on your Instagram or showing up on your website, or things you do or have done for the audience. Because I think that's a major factor, as well as when a planner does go to your site, they need to be able to connect and say, oh, these people are my kind of people, or they know their brand really well. So what advice would you have on that subject?
That was also really hard for us too, to like see us as anything like halfway interesting to begin with. You know, I think I remember when we started doing the Creative Rise, we were like, we had to really look at ourselves and say, okay, we got to get in front of the camera, and and to think of ourselves outside of ourselves was so hard.
Yeah, I think I'm such a perfectionist. So I think pushing yourself to just post the photo or just post the video clip, like, especially on stories, like people aren't like grading you. I think you're like your harshest person. What's it saying? You're your harshest critic. And so I'm like, I feel like that's what has really helped us. Yeah,
I think that you also have, I know it's different for a lot of people because they're like, as a husband and wife team, it's very good in the industry. It's a lot more like, it's easy, you know, because having a girl that just likes to post, I saw this top, I saw these florals, like, gosh, this Pinterest board, brides, can you wear this at your engagement shoot? Like constantly just putting out her opinions about things, and it always creates conversation. It always attracts people. It always, and so they know us from her just continually doing that. And people that are starting out now, like they're people a lot funnier and wittier than me, and they should be doing like TikTok viral things, friggin', like reels, but like not me. Like nobody wants to see that, And I think again, it's like comes down to like just being yourself and finding a way that works. For me, I'm fairly silent behind the scenes online because it works better for us. You sharing your opinions and the bride seeing that and seeing like that they're like-minded,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. When it comes to getting imagery and video photo, I know you guys have like a really awesome video, like an about us kind of thing on your site. Like, I mean, I'm sure you're like, ooh, we don't like those, you feel like you have to update them like every 6 months, or you're like cringe at the, but like,
we haven't done
but
it in so
you guys
long.
are out there, and it's like, what is maybe what's the importance if you're wanting to go luxury, laid back luxury, maybe even not like just whatever, but like, what is your thoughts on like showing up on video when it comes to your site versus on your social media? Like, do you guys do that a lot? Is it mainly in the stories? What is that About Me video done for you all? Like, do you feel like that's just one other turn of the flywheel that's part of the whole thing? Where does that stand on like the level of importance for you guys in the success of what you guys are doing?
It's interesting. Why do you, so do you think as you look at things, or you've like interviewed a lot of different people, do you feel like that has been like a big part of their kind of
I feel like
inquiry process?
people lack the, like, they're like, I'm going to get to a video about me sooner or later. Like, we have these tools to create the story of why we do what we do that's visually compelling and can use sound effect and audio and visuals, but most people
for sure.
are apprehensive to just like put themselves on the other side of the camera because they have self-talk that says, I'm not cute enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, my films aren't. But like, the people that I have seen that do it really well are booking their ideal couples because those couples can connect so much better with you when they're seeing movement and seeing, instead of like a really cool photo where I'm like holding my camera and looking off into the distance and there's a mountain behind me, as opposed to like a, hey, I'm John, this is what I do. The more that we put our faces on things, especially moving. So I just didn't know if you guys strategically we're thinking about that, or if it's been helpful at all, or any advice.
We were in the fall of 2019, the beginning of 2020. Like, that was when we started thinking about it, and that's when we had to kind of relook at ourselves. And so I guess it wasn't so much like the About Me page, or it wasn't, but we did say, because at that point we started doing styled shoots, like / workshops of our own. And we started trying, because we never had a following of other photographers or videographers. It's always been just brides. And so all of our followers are just clients, people that are interested in, and we never got into education and whatnot. We did mentorship sessions. We did those types of things that are hands-on, but we never tried to like mass produce it, It works great for other people, but we just realized it's not quite us. So when we started to want to do those styled shoots, we had to put ourselves out there. And at that time, we also started doing the About Me on our page for clients. And we also started posting like a lot of Pinterest, like things that you care about, things that you like. I think just being more opinionated and more out there. So it was like, I remember back then it was a really hard stretch, but yeah, that really did make a big difference in our business. And all those relationships we talked about that are behind the scenes became faster or worked just probably because it was more integrated into like everything online, and then talking to us in person and everything. And so I guess that's when that relationship starting. I think the first planner that was Laura, that was like, oh, the style is exactly what we want. And so I think around that time was when it all started to shift.
Probably.
Yeah. So it does make sense.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think that it's like you had mentioned it's different for different people. Like there's no one, like this is the 5 steps to success. It's like your geographical location makes a difference. You're in Southern California. There's a lot of luxury, things happening in Southern California compared to other spots or whatever. Or and a lot of people use those as excuses, of course. Like, well, they are successful because they have these circumstances, and I've seen the people that are the most successful are the ones that don't care about the circumstances. They're aware of the circumstances, but they don't let those stop them. They don't let the economy or the inflation or the president or whatever it is. They will use anything they can to say, well, this is why I'm not successful. What has been your kind of mindset attitude with your business when it comes to hurdles, obstacles? Are you people that like plow through things? Do you feel like you're glass half empty lots of the time, glass half full? One of you one way, one of the other. What's your take on that?
I feel like we're both jumpers. We just do it.
But intuitive thinking, not just
foolishly rushing in. Yeah.
Yeah. Once we see it clearly and intuitively say, yes, this makes a lot of sense, there's nothing holding us back. We're like, all in, got to make it happen. This is it. Yeah. So we're not over analyzing, but we do analyze. Yeah. But like hurdles, yeah. I mean, I think that we're both, I don't know how to answer that exactly, actually. Yeah.
That's okay. I like it. I like what you said. I like what you said when it's like, I don't think that you have to do anything and everything and just like jump into it. But you guys seem to be the kind of people that are very strategic in where you want to go and being creating the boundaries around like living a more simple life or living a less busy life, but knowing who you want to serve, why you want to serve them, which helps knowing, the kinds of things you want on your website, the kind of relationships you want to have with people, the kinds of films, and that all kind of flows in. I think if people are listening and go ahead.
One thing that has been the hardest for me is I like to dream like really big, and I like to plan these big things, and so I'll get very attached to the ideal behind it, right? So like the styled shoot or associates or like these type of marketing plans and agendas that we go towards. One of the things that's been the hardest for me though, this, I guess last couple of years coming to the realization of like, these dreams, these kind of pursuits that we have that I'll get very attached to and we started to look at things more strategically. Like, it was hard because we would have this big dream of growing an associate team, but then we realized that the ratio for income to expenses was just very lopsided. It didn't make sense to run that business, and then it ran us dry. And so one of the things that's really hard is video. We're pulling back a lot on video. I'm only doing 8 videos next year. And
I know, but creativity wise, like you're only also shooting 8 because creativity was like, I felt like you were just being depleted.
Yeah.
And he wasn't creating like just having to knock one out after another. It was just like draining him.
Yeah, for sure. I fell out of love with video for sure. And I think creatively, like you do need to find things that help you creatively fall back in love with just being creative and finding things that you are passionate about. So for video, it became something where it creatively really drained me. The income wasn't there as far as why we're leaning into photography now. And it's hard because as you go through business, I think there's going to be these walls that you'll hit, and finding out if you ditch it completely, or how do you at least take a lesson and move forward, or how to make, as much as we just jump into things, we also have to cut things out. And I think in the last couple of years, that's been really hard because there's just been decisions like running our business off of video first is something we've cut out. And now it's going to be a very small part of our business, and we're leaning a lot more towards photography. The associates has been something, we had this big vision. We wanted to have these 2 families, and we wanted to, these husband and wife teams, give them the opportunity to have, $100,000 each just running associates with us. And it just was a great vision, and it went that way. And then it became something it just didn't make sense for us in our life, and it was draining us. So I think it's hard and it's okay. I think it's okay to stop things as a business or as a creative, to look at things and say, I need to ditch that, just as much as you jump into it. So those are the things that have been really hard for us, I think, in the last couple of years, is a lot of initiatives and then ditching it, like styled shoot, workshop, that we get it going, and then we're like, it wasn't quite the right fit. And that's, again,
I guess you don't know till you try, right?
Yeah.
That's what I like to say.
And they were successful in different ways, but it just didn't work for us. And I think that's one of the things where now this philosophy of like doing things that's just right for us, that works for our income, for our family, and sticking to those things, working underneath the surface, and, building relationships authentically, and like kind of keeping your head down and working on the small things really well, instead of trying to, maximize opportunities or whatever, because you're looking at what's online.
Yeah. And I fell into that big time in my early 20s. I'm 37 now. And so it was like, but from the time I was 25 to 30, I tried everything, and it's like, oh, I want to do this. I'm going to make a ton of money doing this. And then it just didn't, I saw other people doing it. You see things on TikTok now, people making a ton of money doing Airbnbs. And it's like, oh, well, maybe I'm going to do Airbnbs now. And maybe I'm going to, invest in gold, or maybe I'm going to, I don't like it, just like all these things that are, and it's like, I had at one point 11 people working for me, doing multiple teams and business manager, office manager, photography, video, like all this stuff. And our top line was, 7 figures. It was great. But like I could pay myself just as much by shooting 12 weddings myself, and that's it, and not having to deal with 80 clients throughout the year. And that just made my life so much more simple so I could focus. And I was burned out too. And I think we do that. And it's cool. I think a lot of people sit on the sidelines thinking, oh, I might try that one day, but they never like take steps. And, I'm a kind of person that's like, I'm going to jump in, I'm going to try something, I'm going to chew on it for like 90 to 120 days before I say yes to doing it. But like if I've been chewing on it for 6 months or more and I still want to do it, I'm going to go for it. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. Like I'll learn something, to help me with the next thing or whatever it might be. So much good information. I know that there are a lot of people out here in the world listening, want to know where they can find you, where they can connect with you. What is the best way for people to just follow along with what you're doing, social, website, all that stuff? Where can people find you?
Yeah.
Instagram,
Foolishly Rushing In. That's the best place. I think that you'll be talking to her most of the time.
But if we want to get your MySpace, where do we go for that to slide into your DM?
If you can find my MySpace, I'll be very happy because I think that thing got deleted and that's sad. So I'll pay handsomely for that one.
I know you guys also do, like you had mentioned, like there's some education stuff on your site, things like that. If people want info on that, where do they go?
Yeah, so I think mentorships are something that we do love doing that are hands-on, that are we only like to do a few because we like to invest our time into it. But
at our website,
www.foolishlyrushingin.com. Yep.
Cool. Love it. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time. I know we had some back and forth getting our schedules all together to get this, but I'm so happy we made it happen. If you ever need anything from us, please let us know. And thank you guys so much for being here today.
Yeah, it was awesome to meet you.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. Again, thank you so much, Dan and Nardia, for being on the podcast today. I know you're very busy people, and it's amazing when we get to connect with new folks like yourself. So many good things. Be sure to check them out on Instagram at Foolishly Rushing In. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, if you are not part of our Facebook group, head over to howtofilmweddings.com/community. It will auto direct you to our Facebook group. Jump in. We do weekly film reviews. I'm in there answering questions. Nick's in there. We've got several moderators. It's a safe place for you to connect with other filmmakers. You do not want to do this business alone. It can be a lonely business, and that's not what we are here for. We're here to develop community and elevate the wedding film industry. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and until next time, we'll see you. Are you looking for a better way to deliver your wedding films to your couples? Look no further. Our friends over at WedFlow provide the most flexible video delivery solution on the market. WedFlow is pay-per-project with no large upfront cost or commitment, and you can cancel anytime. Not only that, WedFlow offers a premium viewing experience for your couples. Accessible on mobile, tablet, desktop, as well as their very own suite of TV apps. Each project comes with 10 years hosting and an experience for your clients that will blow them away. Stop delivering your films the old-fashioned way and give your couples something to rave about. Head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/wedflow to check out WedFlow today.